Back to school time here in Central Florida, and as always, we're going to continue to go in depth on all of that. We're going back to safety now with the Florida Highway Patrol, who's actually here in person, Lieutenant Crescenzi and Trooper Garcia. Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Of course.
Excited to have you guys back here. This is the second time you guys have been in our studios. We're in the nicer studio today, which is nice. So simple. Let's start off with this with safety. A very generalized question, LT. Is the Florida Highway Patrol prepared for the school year?
Absolutely. It's all hands on deck, especially with the school zones, making sure that enforcement's being done. So this month, we're prioritizing education awareness of child safety. Throughout the whole month of August, we're trying to make sure that people are focused on driving and making sure when they're approaching these school zones and school buses that they're doing so safely. Make sure those little ones get home okay.
You mentioned, the child safety in August, the awareness that FHP is promoting this to educate people out there. Can you elaborate a little bit further on this month initiative?
So it's not only just about your driving practices, but it's making sure that children are taken care of even in the vehicle, making sure we're not leaving them unattended. A car can heat up very quickly, and that becomes very dangerous for our little ones. And making sure that they stay secure in their child restraint seats or their seat belts. That's also very important, just in case there was a crash, so we don't have any type of serious injuries from them not being properly restrained.
Is there any advice on safe driving practices for all of the new teen drivers heading to school? We saw recently an Orange County teenager driving on the express lanes at over 120 miles an hour in a fast vehicle. This is common. Teens get their driver's license and they think it's a free-for-all. Do you have any tips?
Parents, please have these conversations with your teens, how tragic it would be if they were involved in a crash at a speed at that rate. In addition to that, it's making sure that they're focused on driving and they're not on their phones. And of course, if they need to get their map, plug that location in before they start driving. And if a text or phone call comes in, let their passenger be that co-pilot where they answer that text or that call, because taking your eyes off the road for even a second could have deadly consequences.
Right. It's not worth risking their young lives. I couldn't have said it any better. All right, Trooper Garcia, there's a lot of penalties, a lot of traffic citations out there for doing wrong things in school zones and school areas. What are the penalties for failing to stop for school buses or a past stop school bus? Because people seem to just don't respect them anymore.
Right. So penalties a driver can face, it would be a moving violation or a traffic infraction. They do vary by county for how much the fine will be. A minimum can be from $165. However, if let's say someone does pass a school bus on the side where kids are coming in and out of, the side where the door is, the penalties can increase to about $265 minimum, depending on the county that they're in.
Right. And the protection of the children, obviously, is of the utmost importance.
As well as facing even points on your license.
Last question for you guys. What safety tips can you give children as they're in school buses and school zones? And any advice for the drivers as well?
For the drivers, especially, slow down. There are speed limits there for a reason. And especially in a school zone, when those lights are flashing in the morning, when kids are being dropped off, and in the afternoon when they're being picked up, it's important to obey that speed limit. It's there for a reason. We do want children and parents to focus on teaching their children how to cross the road if they are crossing by themselves, if they're of age to do that once they're dropped off. Make sure they're paying attention. And especially for those drivers, pay attention to those cross guards as well. They have that traffic vest there to, protect them so that everyone is able to see them. Drivers need to remain alert. It's very important.
Awesome. Thank you guys for coming in. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having us.